Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Amazon Music, Audible, and more, because I want the maximum splatter zone possible for more hope and happiness to you. Yes, you are tuned into my show where we do not have angry rhetoric, ranting, shock talk, or things about people that really don't matter. Instead, I want you to focus on your reality, your life, and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And it is Happy New Year. I'm so grateful. If you missed my really self-love starting the new year show with Marissa Peer yesterday, please do go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, and you will get that interview there. And today's no exception. After the break, I'm bringing you someone that's going to help you start the new year with your best foot forward on social media. His name is Dennis Koutoudis, and he is here from LinkedIn with linkedsuperpowers.com. That's after the break. But now, let's see what day it is today for January 4th. We actually have some very special things going on. First, the deliciousness of life, where I give you permission to have whatever food is being highlighted today. And it is National Spaghetti Day. Thanks to nationalday.com. It tells us about the dispute between where spaghetti was actually originated. Some people say it's Marco Polo bringing back from the East, and or an Arab trade route delicacy, or a homegrown Sicilian treat dating back to the 12th century, or Chinese spaghetti that everything goes back to Chinese because obviously I am Chinese. I am not Swedish, as you thought. So who knows? But anyways, you have my permission today to have spaghetti. And it is also National Trivia Day. So in 1940, one of the first forms of trivia game was started in a radio program called Take It or Leave It. Not long after that, in 1964, Jeopardy entered millions of homes through TV. I just love Alex Trebek. Peace in, peace out to you. I know you're on the other side with my dad right now. He was Canadian too, by the way. It is also Free Flower Basket Day. So here's a day and an excuse to bring flowers to someone that you love. And if you love me, I am accepting flowers too. It is also Perihelion Day. This is a natural event that brings us closest to the sun. It occurs 2 weeks after every December solstice, and on this day, Earth's center is approximately 91,402,500 miles from the sun's center. Now, perihelion does not directly affect Earth's temperature, and it doesn't make us feel any warmer, nor does it provide respite from the chilling temperature. However, it does indirectly affect seasons because Earth's orbital speed is at its maximum at perihelion. On this day, the sun appears the largest in the sky for the entire year, gradually growing smaller through the remainder of the year. Now, don't look directly at the sun, but if you have one of those whodamacallits that you stargaze with, you can probably find out if that's true or not. And January 4th is also World Braille Day, which honors the birth of Braille's inventor, Louis Braille. Braille's gift to the world has brightened the lives of millions of people around the world who are blind or visually impaired, and they benefit from his work every single day. Louis Braille was a Frenchman who actually lost his eyesight as a child when he accidentally stabbed himself in the eye with his father's awl. From the age of 10, he spent time at the Royal Institute for Blind Youth in France, where he formulated and perfected the system of raised dots that eventually became known as Braille. How interesting. Braille's marvelous aid that opened up a world of accessibility to the blind and visually impaired was recognized by the United Nations General Assembly November 2018, and January 4th was declared World Braille Day. I love learning new things. Hopefully you do too. And finally, it is World Hypnotism Day. So if you've ever been hypnotized, or if you've ever used hypnotism as a way to change behavior, some people are using it right now for New Year's resolutions. When we come back, we'll talk about my resolution and something you can adopt to actually make you feel better almost immediately. That's here on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. Yes, this is the #1 talk news show in the Inland Empire. And this is, thanks to you, the #1 8 a.m. talk news show in the same area. And I am so glad that you're here, because I wanted to try to talk y'all into a really good life habit that I started back in 2011. It's called the 21-day fast from complaining. Yes, some of you have already registered. Thank you very much. I'm giving away for Asian Oprah giveaway. Those of you who don't know, I've been introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah by Michael Bernard Beckwith, my big brother. And so that's why I have that honorable moniker. And I'm giving away stuff on this show. And today I'm giving a free $21 registration to join the 21-day fast from complaining. Now, know that if you pay $21 on your own without getting it for free, that you can win double your money back if you do not complain for 21 consecutive days. And I'm opening it up. So if you want to start today, that's fine too. You don't have to start it on the 1st. You just have to do 21 consecutive days. But you do have to be registered. Go to drmarissa.life. If you want to try out for the free one, just put 21-day fast in the subject line, and I'll send you back an email saying you won, and you're officially starting the 21-day fast from complaining. Now, what is this fast? Well, it is simply just not complaining. Now, some people say, what if I have a complaint in my head, but I don't verbalize it? Well, then it's not a complaint. Let's not run before we walk. If you're thinking a negative thought or a complaining thought, then just don't let it come out of your mouth. It's when it leaves your mouth that it counts against you. And once you complain, you have to go back to day 1. So you can make it 7 days. And on the 8th day, if you complain, you just go back to day number 1. So I'm going to keep this open for the first quarter. So you have from now until the end of March, March, first quarter, to try to get 21 consecutive days. The key is consecutive. If you tell me you did 1 and 5 plus 7 and 11, no, it has to be 21 consecutive days. So you can ramp up to it as far as March, I believe, 3rd to make it. All right. Now, what's the difference between a fact and a complaint? So let's say it's super cold outside and you go, it's so cold. That's a complaint. If you say it's cold outside, that's a fact. So that's the difference between if it charges against you or not. Got it? Now, I also have an entire 21-day set for free of daily tips to help you not complain. There's also a Facebook group with tips every day of how not to complain. I used to have an app that was a lovely app, but the person that was maintaining it decided to do other things. And since it was not selling, I didn't want to ask people for 99 cents. So I basically just gave it away. So it's going to cost some money, energy to get that going. And so we're looking for someone who wants to partner with me to get that. If you're an expert in apps, some of the stuff is already ready, but that's an aside. So if you want to help with the app, please do go to drmarissa.life, and in the subject line, help with app would be great. But in the meantime, we can still try to not complain. So today is actually day 4. So yesterday's tip was to replace complaining with gratitude. And the tip for day 4 is anger is just one letter away from danger. As easy it is to be quick to anger and spew it out in a complain, know this. Dr. Deepak Chopra reminds us that medical research has validated there are 2 emotions that disrupt the harmonious function of our cells: anger and hostility. On the other hand, there are 3 emotions that encourage our bodies to sing in perfect harmony: love, peace, and creativity. So is the complaint worth the hit to your health? So that is your warning and your tip to help keep you complaint-free for today. All right. So again, please join the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. There is a warning label, and the warning label reads as follows. Should you take this 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa fast, you can eat whatever you want, but you may suffer from more laughter, more smiles, more happiness, better relationships. And I actually had one guy write in and said, your fast made my bedroom a happier place to be. So he actually said it was better, but I am on an FCC channel, so I'm not going to say that. So if you want a good life habit that's only going to cost you $21, which, by the way, goes to my nonprofit, 8 Ways to Happiness, a 501c that helps kids, teens, and young adults who have temporarily lost their birthright to happiness, then I will double your money if you complete 21 consecutive days of non-complaining. And if you do complain, guess what? It's a good cause. All right. So that's my commercial for the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. And I'm going to finish this segment with one of my short sizzles. Some of you have asked about my work as a motivational speaker. And now that we're gearing up again, I do have a message of hope and happiness. So I thought I would bring you this short sizzle so you know what I talk about when I go on the road. Enjoy.
If I had $100,000 in the bank, I'd be happy. Then it was 500,000, then it was 1 million, then it's 10 million. Now 10 million's not enough. I'll be happy when I finish school. I'll be happy when my parents are okay. I'll be happy when my kids are okay. I'll be happy when. Anybody? So when are you going to be happy?
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
For the next 8 years, it's my mission to have 8 million more people
88% happy. We're human beings. We cannot be happy
All the time.
All the time. But 8 is a lucky number. I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. And so double 8 is 88%, is double good fortune, which is our birthright to be happy 88% of the time.
If there is one thing that somebody can change today
Yes.
to make their life happier and
Yes.
their outlook happier, what
Yes.
is that one small thing that somebody can do?
So if your mind continues going to places that are dark and something or someone did something to you that was horrible, that's 7 out of 10 of us, the majority. So it's not what happened to you, it's what happened for you.
And focus on that.
Exactly. So pain in life is mandatory, suffering is optional. So I can choose to look at that pain as something that chiseled me into greater good. So Phoenix Rising, that's my middle name in Chinese, so
I love
that's
that.
what I would say.
One of my teachers is Michael Bernard Beckwith, and he's a very good friend of Oprah's, introduced me to Oprah as this is the Asian Oprah. And I'm like, and she looked at me, and she looked down, she looked at me, smiled, and said, nice pants.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy. That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pay's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Spirituality and knowing who I am and whose I am was very important.
Okay.
Knowing that I am a precious child of a friendly universe and of a God that conspires for me, never against me. That was the
I like that.
seed.
That's a good one.
That a seed that began to supplant that voice, because we all have, especially children who have had damage, have a voice that says, you shouldn't have said this, you shouldn't have said that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you really are ugly. People compliment you, but they don't really know you.
It's about you. You have to begin to strengthen the beautiful part of you. You are one of a kind, amazing. 7.3 billion people on this planet, every single one different, like the grains of sand, like the leaves on the trees, like the drops of water in the ocean. We are all amazingly unique. Every single one of us have unique gifts, talents, and abilities to share, not because we're doing good necessarily, because it makes us feel good. Don't you feel good when you know you're making a difference? Yes, and you do make a difference in a way that only you can make a difference. There's nothing like this life. I don't know what's after. I don't know where we came from. I do know this is here. I know the present is a present because it's a gift, and you want to open it.
Tonight we're wrapping up Women's History Month with a story about a woman whose mission is to spread happiness. Dr. Marissa Pay is a survivor of childhood trauma and a reformed tiger mom. She's an accomplished woman who has endured hardship, but she says she's also found a path to happiness.
I'm Dr. Marissa, and I'm making history in spreading happiness. I was born in a little town, a little German town in Canada. My parents came from China, and they wanted me to blend in as much as possible, so I was told, don't speak Chinese. So I learned actually to lie about who I was. People would say, are you Hawaiian? And I'd say, yes, because Chinese was just not a good thing to be. I had a tiger mom, and in an effort to motivate me, she would say that I was fat, that I was ugly, and that I was clumsy. To prove she was wrong, I started modeling, and I dropped 40 pounds in like less than a year, and unhealthy. I was constantly trying to prove that voice wrong.
And this is a show about hope and how to be happy.
So that began my own journey to shift from blaming to, wait a minute, there is a role in pain in life. And what I've realized is pain in life chisels us into more and more good, more and more expansion, and more beauty. Yes, now I am known as the Asian Oprah,
And the first time someone called me that, I went, oh, whoa, 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 way too big shoes to step into. One of my teachers is Michael Bernard Beckwith, and he's a very good friend of Oprah's, introduced me to Oprah as this is the Asian Oprah. And I'm like, and she looked at me, and she looked down, she looked at me, smiled, and said, nice pants.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah, reporting live.
When I say this is Dr. Marissa reporting, also known as the Asian Oprah, it just immediately sets people at ease. They laugh. It's such an honor. Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it. Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Dr. Marissa says the road to happiness starts with your mind, and you should end your day by reminding yourself of 8 things you successfully accomplished.
And I hope you enjoyed that. And if you would like the link to that sizzle, if you want to put me up in your organization to come and talk hope and happiness, please do. You just free subscribe on my YouTube channel, where it's all available along with my red carpet playlists. Someone the other day said, oh my God, you interviewed John Travolta. Yes, and got 2 hugs, not just one. Halle Berry, Quincy Jones, Robert Pine, Lieutenant Uhura, and of course, the amazing Dawn Wells, Marianne from Gilligan's Island, who we lost to COVID complications, but she's with my dad. She's on the other side. All right. When we come back, I am delighted. When we come back, I'm delighted to bring you a very special guest. He's hailing from Greece, where he and his wife have this wonderful company called Linked Superpowers, specialists in social media. He's got books, he's got advice, and a service that's actually affordable that he might help you with. And we just talked, and guess what? I'm going to be a test case on him, so you'll hear from him back once he does the assessment on my stuff. So when we return here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Audible, Amazon Music, iTunes, and more. Because as you know, I'm on a Happy 88 mission, and I want people to be happy. 88 million to be exact for the next 8 years. So I bring you topics and guests who will help you to that end. And more than just happiness. Today, I'm delighted to bring you my special guest. His name is Dennis Koutoudis, and he is a LinkedIn and social selling strategist with over 3 million social media followers. He is the founder and CEO of Linked Superpowers, an international best-selling author with The Superpower of Online Networking, and finally, the creator of the Ask Dennis show. Please welcome to my studio, Dennis Koutoudis. And welcome, Dennis. Thanks for joining me today. And, I don't have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine. And when you call me, it says, who are you and what do you want? So, Dennis, who are you and what do you want?
Well, first of all, it's been an honor for you to invite me to your show here, Marissa, Dr. Marissa. And let's jump right into this. Who am I? Well, I'm Dennis. I'm from Greece. I've been a social media marketing director in various companies before I created my own company with my co-founder and wife, Emily Papas. So we created Linked Superpowers back in 2014, 2015, by the end of 2014. We were social media marketing directors, and we thought, we wanted to help more people than just the companies that hired us, the companies that we were working for at any point in time. So we said, why don't we join forces and we create a company that could help influence millions of people with our advice and help them achieve professional success, which is how Linked Superpowers was born. And fast forward 7 years, and we are now present in 3 countries, Greece, England, and the US. We've got offices there. We've got thousands of clients, and we've influenced, which is the most important, with our free content, helpful content, because with Linked Superpowers is all about practical advice. We've influenced millions of people so far. Only myself, I've had a community of nearly over 3 million people on various social media networks. Include to that, my co-founder and the others of our team. We influence millions, positively.
That's great.
That's my why. That's why I'm doing this. I want to help. We want to help as many people as possible accomplish their professional dreams.
Great. Now, 7 years ago, I'm trying to think back when, there's a lot of terms that we never thought would be like in the dictionary. And I can remember a time where there was no social media. Like that was what social media is, kind of like what's premarital sex. Sorry, that's another show. But when did the advent of social media officially start? Like you would know that. I don't know that. I don't remember that. My only reference point is someone said to me, do you have a Facebook page? And I said, what's that? That was my first. I saw what is that? Space something or another.
MySpace.
MySpace.
That was the first one that came into my radar.
Right.
It was in the early 2000s, I think 2002,
early 2003,
something like that. Yeah.
So then you were pretty early then in going, this is not going away. I wasn't as smart. I sort of went, it's just a fad. It's going to pass. And then, so I missed that whole space. I spaced out on MySpace.
All right. Okay.
So what happened that you went, oh, this is something? What were your signs?
Well, look, I by utilizing LinkedIn, as I told you, I was a social media marketing director in various companies before I created my own. So as utilizing mainly LinkedIn, for finding clients, actually for the companies that were hiring, I was hired by, I saw the superpower, the true superpower of social media and how it could, and the potential, and how it could elevate a company into the stratosphere if you use it in the most effective way. So I saw that pretty early on by utilizing social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook back then, in the most effective way. Yes, and Instagram later on. Yeah, Instagram later on, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a series of questions so that anyone listening who still is saying, I don't want to be part of that. I don't have a profile. I don't want to get involved in all of that. You give me the ABCs on why you have to have a social media presence.
Well, I'll just give you one sentence, Dr. Marissa. I mean, it's nowadays, if you don't have a solid, I'm not saying at all, if you don't have a solid social media presence, in many occasions, it is as if you don't even exist.
Okay, what if you don't want to exist? What if you, because I know some of my listeners are like, I don't, because I encourage people to follow me on Instagram, Doc Balance, and everywhere else, Dr. Marissa. And they say, no, I don't want anybody to know who I am and what I'm doing. And my privacy is being hacked.
Right. I understand. Look, I respect this, but some people might feel this way, and we have to respect it. It's their own choice. But when you think about professional success, for example, and you think about LinkedIn, the largest network of professionals out there, the potential is limitless. You can land a new employment opportunity, for example, if you know how to use it in the most effective way. If you have a solid presence, SEO optimized presence, and you know how to use it. You can find investors, you can find more clients for your business, you can find collaborators, you can find ideal employees for your company, all from your personal profiles. I'm not talking about the company page, you can do other things, but even from a personal profile, you can do all these very important, beneficial things, through networking, through those networks like LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. And you're preaching to the choir. I absolutely agree with you. I was just trying to play devil's advocate a bit. So it's not just me saying, especially if you have your own business, especially even if you have a good job right now, I remember, without giving away my age, I'm ageless, but in the old days, I can remember if you don't stay at a company 5 years, people are going to ask what's wrong with you. Now, if you stay with a company for 5 years, they're going to be asking you what's wrong with you.
The same,
because
yeah.
it's a whole new ball game now. Yeah.
Exactly.
So being current and having your information on there, and the best part is it's free, right?
Yeah.
So there's,
there
are paid options.
There are paid options which are super helpful if you're looking for a job, for example, subscription on LinkedIn, premium subscription. But yeah, there are many benefits for that, but you need to use it strategically, in the most effective way. This is the key here.
Right. And that's where your expertise comes in. So we've now convinced all the listeners who don't think it's important. Okay, now they're nodding their heads and they're saying, okay, fine. Now walk me through, as if I am just converted, what do I need to do? Especially when you said strategically. So there's some things not to do, is my guess.
Definitely. And I'm a specialist on LinkedIn mainly, but what we need to keep in mind is that, for example, let's talk about recruiters. When you get into the radar of a recruiter on LinkedIn and they search, what they do, usually is they don't look at LinkedIn only. They know you're going to present yourself in the best possible. You're going to try to present yourself in the best possible light on LinkedIn. Okay. They want to search you on other social media networks like Facebook, like Instagram, to see how you interact with people socially. You see another face of you, your personal lives, to see, whether they want to hire you or not.
Interesting. So it's like a psychological assessment without making you take the assessment.
Exactly. So that's what I'm telling my clients. I'm actually going with them. I'm looking at their Instagram account and I'm looking at their Facebook. Although they've hired us for LinkedIn, to help them for LinkedIn. So yeah, they have to be professional, in all social media networks. Job seekers.
Good point. Yeah. And I have yet to post anything angry or shameful. So that's my guidelines. And I would encourage you heard it from the expert here. So watch what you type is the tip here, right?
Yes, what you post, what you type. Yeah, definitely. Keep away. But I usually, it's my opinion. I don't know. Many people might agree or not. I don't get into, like you said, bad behavior and stuff like that, or politics and religion. I don't get into that.
But Dennis, I'm glad you reminded me. I wanted to ask you, I cannot believe how much political and religious posts there are on LinkedIn. What happened? And how do you stop watching it, or who do you complain to? Even though I'm on the 21-day fast from complaining right now. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, and what you can do is you can definitely filter out these people and these conversations. For example, in my feed, I don't see them, these conversations, because I've filtered out everything. I want to see, LinkedIn is the largest the largest network of professionals.
How many are there now?
I think they're over 750 million. They're growing in a crazy rate every day. So it's we want to stay professional there. So we are living in turbulent times, in peculiar times at the moment. So I think it's a little bit natural for those conversations to occur at this point in time. But that being said, LinkedIn is has its purpose, professional, and I think
for the most part,
and we want to try to stick to this. At least you can filter out those conversations that you don't want to see, or interact with relevant people. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure I couldn't help but comment on one of them, and that's probably why it's still popping up. So once you comment on something, I think they think that you want to see their stuff. So I made the mistake of doing that. So I will refrain from pen and tongue and text and thumb.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And you now are convinced you need to go on social media. So for sure, LinkedIn is, can you just do LinkedIn, or should you do LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Those are the 4 that I'm on. I don't do Pinterest. I don't do anything else. 4 is enough. It's already like exhausting for me to keep up with that. And I rarely do Twitter. I'm going to ask for personal advice. So I have like 20,000 on Facebook page. I keep hitting my 5,000 on Facebook regular profile.
Yeah,
I have
the limit. Yeah.
like 10,000, I think, on LinkedIn last time I checked. And they asked me to write stuff, which is nice every once in a while. And then on Twitter, I have 750, which is not much at all, because I don't do anything with that. I haven't. And then I have, YouTube. So I have like 1,500 subscribers on there. I'm your entrepreneur. I just hired you, right? You're going to tell me to go officially hire you, but this is your gift to me. What is your advice to me I'm a solopreneur?
Okay. Well, the first thing that I ask our clients is, what is your goal and who is your target prospect? Right. So that depends. Yeah, that will determine what I tell you next.
Okay, perfect. So I have 5.
Okay.
One is my Happy 88 mission, which you heard about. That's everybody that doesn't necessarily linked in with finances. I mean, that's my life purpose. For the money energy to come in, I am a corporate psychologist. So I do strategic planning, team building, executive development, valuing diversity. So that's one. I do motivational speaking for everybody on happiness and joy and less stress in the workplace. And then I do sell my book, my best-selling book, 8 Ways to Happiness. And I do life coaching for, coaches. And then I do media, my radio show. So that's it. Those are 5.
Excellent. So definitely your target audience could be found in all of those social media networks. But the first thing we would do is ensure you have a stellar and SEO optimized LinkedIn presence.
Okay.
Right? So we would focus on LinkedIn, number one. Each and every section of your profile would be, or profiles, if you got a personal and company pages, for the different things that you mentioned, you might have 5 different company pages, with different brands and different target audiences. But the first thing we would do is focus on having a stellar and social media SEO optimized presence. So I would sit down with you. I would send you a questionnaire. I would have a one-on-one 1-hour interview with you, recorded with your permission. And then I would sit down with my team, with Emily, of course, my partner and LinkedIn strategist, and my other team members, top copywriters, personal branding experts, corporate branding experts, storytellers, graphic designers, SEO specialists, researchers. We would consult on your answers to the questionnaire that we gave you in the interview we had, and then come back to you with suggestions on how we feel you could enhance your presence, each and every section of your profiles, and how you could SEO optimize them. Then we would do a little bit of back and forth, and then we would upload everything into your LinkedIn profiles. So that's number one that we would do. Apart from that, after that, we would do some training. We would train you how to most effectively utilize the platform, and also introduce you to relevant parties from our network if it's a good fit, which usually there is because we have a huge network.
This sounds quite expensive.
It is not, actually. We are very well known. And actually, my wife and business partner, she's half British. And what we want to say is, when you deal with Linked Superpowers, our company, you deal with UK quality at Greek prices. That's a joke. Because we have,
That's very
that being
cute.
said, Greece has some pretty expensive prices in some goods, as well. But it's a joke, that we use here. So it's very economical. It's very it's a solid value for money.
1,000, 2,000.
No. But we've got profile makeovers that begin from 400 euro.
400. Okay. 400 euro is
which is a little bit
$800 US.
No. It's like 450 or something.
450.
Like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we have very economic, and that's one off. And it includes all these things that I mentioned. All these professionals. So because we have a pretty big volume, we've managed to have keep the prices.
Now, is this SEO optimization the same as the SEO optimization that on your website that they say you put the key terms and make sure that key terms are there? Is that about the same?
Well, LinkedIn is another is a whole different animal. Let's call it. It's not the same as Google SEO. It's got a few people, in my opinion, know how to super effectively utilize LinkedIn SEO.
Okay. All right. So it is an expertise that
yes, it is an expertise in art. Yeah.
All right. Again. So how do people get a hold of the Linked Superpowers?
Excellent. So look, they could always reach us at linkedsuperpowers.com, our website, or reach us directly on LinkedIn, which is our home turf. They could type Dennis Koutoudis or Emily Papas, and they could find us there and reach out to us. We've been told, I've been called the approachable influencer. So,
nice. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I have one question that I ask all of my guests at the end of the show, which you've watched some, so you probably know this is coming. And that is, to who or what are you most grateful for? To who or what are you most grateful for?
Well, Dr. Marissa, I don't know if you know this, but I've been raised by my grandparents. So my parents were my friends, but I was raised by my grandparents.
Okay.
I think my parents were traveling all over the world, and I think the person that I'm most grateful is my grandfather. So he raised me.
What was his name?
Gregory.
Gregory.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
the name of my son as well. He's got Leo
Oh,
and Gregory. So he's
how
got
old is your son?
2.5 years old.
Oh, cute age. Very cute age.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
he's Dennis the Menace. I'm called Dennis, but he's the menace. So it's yeah.
All right.
So yeah, the person I'm 100% grateful to is
Oh,
my grandparent. He was actually the angel investor at the beginning of Linked Superpowers before his
oh,
passing.
very,
So he
very
supported
nice.
us, Emily
Oh,
and me. Yeah,
wonderful. And he's on the other side with my dad, cheering you on, right?
cheering us,
Yes, all of us on. That's
all
wonderful.
of us.
My dad's there, and he did the same thing with me. So I understand that feeling. So that's wonderful. Now, I think we have a couple minutes. Is there one tip or one thing you want to leave in the minds of all of the listeners that are catching you now?
It's an ocean out there of, and it's an ocean with white sharks. So if you want to stand out in your professional field, it's not easy. So working with experts can really elevate your game considerably, but the right experts, not
Yes.
just anyone who's self-baptized expert,
Yes.
in
Yeah.
a professional field. You need to do your due diligence. Look at their recommendations, check their online presence, check out if they walk the talk or talk the walk, which is not what we want.
That's a good
So,
point.
so
Yeah.
yeah, working with the right people. I mean, I'm working with experts as well. I'm working with top copywriters. They've helped me write my own
Right.
LinkedIn summary, for example,
Yeah.
section.
Yeah. Well, I
So
say that. I say you don't try to fix your own car. If you
yeah,
don't have that expertise, you go. It's the same way. So,
yes.
absolutely. One more time, how do people find you?
Yes, so they could reach out to us on our website, linksuperpowers.com, or directly on LinkedIn, our home turf, Dennis Koutoudis or Emily Papas. If you type on the LinkedIn search engine, you'll find us right there.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming to the studio. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her living room during the pandemic. And then I do this thing, if you would do it with me. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace.
Right.
Thank you so much for coming again. This is Dr. Marissa reminding you to go forth and multiply the goodness that you are. Go check out Dennis Koutoudis on linkedsuperpowers.com. See you tomorrow. And remember, have the best day ever.